Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, Absolutely Non-League, the show dedicated to everything from the National League North, and National League South. As always, this podcast is a collaboration with NL Fulltime. We've got quite a bit of football to talk about. We have got National League North, South, and actually a double game week in the National League. But of course, I couldn't do it alone. What a team I have tonight. Morgan, I'll start with you. How's your Monday been? And how are you?
It's been really good, thank you. I'm doing well, thanks. Good weekend. Well, York win, so we'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, it was a good start to my weekend.
Love that. Lee, we will get onto the events a little bit later. But how are you and how's your Monday been so far?
Yeah, do you know what? It's not been bad. It's not been a bad weekend, obviously apart from some football. But yeah, been work today and now relaxing on the podcast tonight. So it can't get any better.
And Ben, how are you? How's your Monday been? And finally, we've got some good news to talk about from a Wealdstone point of view.
I took a bump in it. I'm all right. First day back at work after a week off, not ideal. Come back to loads of emails as you do. But to be fair, I don't think it's our men's team that's still the headlines this weekend. It's actually our women's team. I have to say, I just wanted to give them a shout out. So reached the first round of the FA Cup for the first time in their history. So they've been rewarded with a nice tie against Plymouth Argyle. So so that's for game 4 divisions above for them. But I'm really pleased for Nathan Baker, Tori Campbell, and everyone down there. So that's probably where I think the big headline is. But of course, delighted, more happy coming on the podcast when you get 3 points.
It's always a good feeling, isn't it? And last but not least, representing NL Fulltime, Joe, how are you and how's your Monday been so far?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Again, after a win on the weekend, my first away day of the season with Torquay. So, can't be better.
Love it. And of course, it's not just us. We've got some people in the chat. We have got Luke. He's put, I'll read everyone. We will talk about Tuesday, but we'll just skip Saturday. Great to see you all now. I know. It's one of them. I said it last week, I think. They're so hit and miss, Gateshead, aren't they? They really are hit and miss. But I bet it's fun, though, watching Gateshead. Oh, no, we'll absolutely talk Saturday. Danny has put, we will. Graham, hi, Graham. Hope you're okay. I do want to apologise as well to our EFL fans because I unfortunately did have to cancel the show on Thursday. It was me. I was poorly. I had a little bit of a sickness bug, so I just wanted to apologise to everyone. But these things happen. We've got Fifey. Hi, Fifey. Hope you're okay. We've got Johnny. Hi, Shah, Morgan, Lee, Joe, and Ben. Hope you all had a great day. Hope you have as well. Fifey said, hope everyone is well. And just checking in before our show. I know everybody, if you haven't checked it out so far, please do. Fifey's Phil's Rush-In show, all things Swindon Town. But even if you're not a Swindon Town fan, go and watch it because honestly, they're fantastic guys and it's very, very good entertainment. He's put as well, I've just been watching the Women's FA Cup draw. We have got Chris. Good evening, all. YouTube is being funky, so can't access my Spenny fan Chris. It all makes sense now. Account, but I should be able to get on my account again. Hope you do get things sorted, Chris. Do you know what? I'm actually quite happy with myself because usually it would take me a while. I'm not very good when it comes to change, so I'm actually quite proud of myself that I managed to realise who it was. But I'm okay. Thank you so much. Apologies not needed. I promise it'll be extra good on Thursday. Luke, we've only won 3 games at home this year and we have a massive injury list. Oh, no. But yes, we will start somewhere. And don't worry, Luke. I thought I would leave National League till the end. You've got a little bit of time to prepare. But, Chris, you do not have time to prepare because we're going to start with the National League North. Morgan, I'll come to you first. Any on here you want to give a mention to?
The 2 that stand out for me are, I'll start with Chester Merthyr. just because it's Chester's kind of continuous slow start to the season. I think Merth got a 90th minute equaliser in that as well when I was just looking. But Chester haven't won a game since the 25th of August now when they beat Oxford, which for a team that made it to the playoffs and were very close to getting promoted back to the National League is a big fall from grace. I think they're 17th now. So, yeah, it's Chester. It's a bit worrying for them, for a team that obviously they're a Phoenix team, but their previous club were in the Football League and they're got slightly big expectations, bigger crowd, bigger fan base. To be 17th, not won in over a month, is a big worry for them.
I think it's because a couple of our podcast panel went for them to do pretty well. So I think it's a jinx at the minute. But yeah, it's not looking good at the moment for Chester. Joe, I'll come to you. Any you want to give a mention to in National League North?
Yeah, I mean, I think the top honours, I'll give it to Peterborough Sports. I think Phil Brown would be rather happy with himself playing his former team, who obviously sacked him at the end of last season after just falling short in the playoffs. For him to beat his old team, he'll be rather relieved with that one. And it's a good win for Peterborough Sports against the Kidderminster team who've been struggling so far this season. Not quite been the sort of team that we all expected them to be, one of the favourites for the league, but they're certainly struggling going forward, which I don't think, certainly from Ben's point of view, having watched them last year at Maidstone, I don't think we'll be too surprised, because I don't think at times Adam Murray's teams were the most attacking. But a really good win for Peterborough Sports, and I think Phil Brown's made a real impact there. Gone in a couple of good wins, and good win.
I like Phil Brown, me. I know it's one of them where you're obviously familiar with the work that he's done, but I think with Phil Brown, he's quite a consistent manager, and I do like Phil Brown quite a lot. So I'm hoping he does do well with Peterborough Sports. Let's quickly go to the chats. We have got... I can't get my buttons working, I tell you what. You have a few days off because you're poorly and then your laptop goes rusty. Lucas put, I went to South Shields versus Chorley, and I have to say South Shields look very good this season. Could be certainly up there now. I think they're top, aren't they, South Shields, if I remember rightly. Doing very well. I know we've mentioned them a couple of times, and I know a lot of people mentioned that they've got quite good backing, haven't they, at the minute? But yeah, South Shields are playing very, very well. It pains me to say that as well. Sometimes you have got to say it, though, even if they are your rivals. But it's nice that you went and watched a different game. Shields are chugging along, Luke. They are. Ben, I'll come to you next. Any you want to give a mention to?
Probably a good win for Marine, actually, away from Macclesfield. Marine, who had a very good start to the season. They picked up about 3 wins or so in the opening sort of 5 games. Hit a bit of a rough patch in recent weeks. They've conceded a lot of goals. But to go away from home, goal and clean sheet, I always find that 1-0 away from home is the most satisfying scoreline. I don't know what it is. It feels like a hard grit win. And yeah, for Marine, I think that would have given them a bit of relief all around, to be honest, because, when you do get in a bit of a rut, it's hard to get yourself out of it the longer it goes on. And, look, Macclesfield have dropped off a little bit, not massively. I mean, like I said, they're only, I think, 3-4 points off the playoffs, but the Moss Rose is always one of the hardest places to go in that division. They've made it a fortress in the last few years with their rises up to divisions. But, Marine, they've got history there, obviously winning in a playoff final there just a few years ago to get them into the National North. So, yeah, they've sort of gone and replicated some good memories there and, come away with an important 3 points.
Lee, any you think are standout ones, or just any you want to give a mention to?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to eat my words a little bit here as well with the prediction I did at the beginning of the season, because I had Radcliffe to go down, and yeah, I've got to take that back now. Radcliffe have been putting in some performances, and they're doing a really good job, and they're holding their own in the division. So, like I said, I don't know a lot about National League North, but the results that we've looked at over the past weeks, Radcliffe are doing really, really well. And yeah, I take back what I said, because I believe, are they in the playoffs at the moment?
Sixth, I think.
Top half now.
Yeah, sixth.
So yeah, there we go. So any Radcliffe fans that watch this, I take back what I said.
Never mind Radcliffe fans. There's one person here right now who had them to finish in the playoffs. Joe, they're proving you right at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, I went a year early last year in saying that they'd get into the playoffs, but I stuck by it this year. And yeah, I thought they'd signed pretty well in the summer. And Bernard and John are two decent managers. Their teams usually aren't that far away at this level. They seem to have certainly improved defensively and the scoring goals. So yeah, they've started quite nicely.
I know you're really big fans as well, aren't you, Ben, of Bernard and Jono? You've mentioned a couple of times, haven't you, about them?
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't surprise me. I didn't think they'd probably be in this position at this moment in time. I thought they would still be in and around sort of near the bottom half of the table. But again, look, they're proven managers. You can talk about the fact that the previous clubs they've been at, obviously like your Salfords, they've had big budgets to work with. So it's a bit of a contrast going to a smaller club like Radcliffe. But look, they've built a foundation there. They've built some success there. And they're just keen to keep building on year in, year out. I think they're doing a terrific job there. And Radcliffe, like I say, it wouldn't surprise me if they did finish in the top 7, because you always do get that one surprise package in the season. And at this moment in time, you're probably looking at maybe either them or Merthyr at the moment. But no, absolutely fair credit to them. They are, making the most of home advantage, really. Like I say, another big win against an Altrincham side that I'm really disappointed at the moment. I don't think many people would have had them down where they are at the moment. It's a bit of a shocking start for the club of their standards.
Just going to really quickly go to the chat because there's a lot of Spennymoor chat. David has put Spennymoor winning again, having another good season. They are, and obviously we do have our Spenny fan Chris, although he's not on his usual account, but he has put Southport at home. Southport have an awful record against the Moors, and it was another loss for them versus Spennymoor. Mr. Spennymoor, Glenn Taylor, got on the score sheet to give the Moors a 1-0 at home. If anyone's going to score, it's going to be Glenn Taylor. We say this every single week, and I'm more shocked when he doesn't score. Junior Mondal, 66 minutes, sealed a 2-0 win. Now on to a double cup week with Washington FC at home in the County Cup, and then Billericay Town in the FA Cup on Saturday. We're not going to talk FA Cup yet because me and Morgan don't want to be fighting live here. So I know Morgan will beat me.
Me and Joe don't know what the FA Cup is this year, so.
Oh, bless us. We have got Matt as well in the chat. He has put, really pleased with Marines' win against a 10-man Macclesfield. Hope they can string a few results together now after a disappointing recent spell. Bedford wasn't asleep on Saturday. They won a 2-0 win against Worksop Town. Lucas put in the cup, Gateshead have Durham United at home. In the County Cup. Anybody else want to give a mention to any of the other results?
Yeah, I mean the one that I'd pick out is Bedford. We obviously haven't mentioned them. I think obviously if they're going to stay up, they need to beat the teams around them. And Worksop are a team that are certainly not having the start to the season that they would have hoped for. Nathan Ashmore made his debut for Bedford. Obviously the goalkeeper from Boreham Wood, and he said when he joined, he said we're going to have a lot of clean sheets, and fair play to him. He stuck to his word. First game, clean sheet already. And I think he could potentially be the difference for them if they can keep him for the season. That's the sort of player that certainly if we're playing away from home against an away crowd, he's the sort of person that loves winding up the crowd and grinding out a win like they did. So, yeah, a good win for Bedford.
Do you know what? I love players like that, me. Even if it's part of the opposite team, if we're against them, I don't know what it is, but I'm like, I really rate that about certain players. Just really quickly, Chris in the chat has put, odd thing between Oxford and Curzon. Oxford and Curzon's kit was too similar and Oxford had to change their away pink kit. Who messed that up? Has anybody's teams ever done that before where there's been a kit clash? Because in a recent, I think it was a National League Cup game, it was the goalkeeper in ours. So we actually had to lend, I think it was Blackburn's goalkeeper, one of our goalkeeper shirts because it was a complete kit clash.
I mean, the obvious one would have been the Truro Dorking game at the beginning of last season, wouldn't it? Yes. That was the ultimate kit clash. I mean, that's the thing. You couldn't have written it better for a bunch of amateurs. Like, you know, they've told most stories of that club, but then having to like turn their shirts inside out, that was just pure class, in my opinion. I don't think that you only get that in non-league football. You will not get that in the Premier League, never.
It'd be funny though, wouldn't it? Imagine a kit clash in the Premier League. Imagine. At least for once, they might not be talking about VAR. Anybody else want to mention anything before we move on?
I mean, I think, to be fair, I mean, we've spoken about it a little bit, but Scarborough, they've just continued another great, and also a terrific away win at Kings Lynn Town, who a lot of us have tipped to do really well this season. I think they went behind early doors as well. And, when you can see an early goal away from home, it's always sometimes harder to get yourself back into the game because it's the ascendancy always seems to be the home team. You get the crowd behind them. But look, Scarborough just a different breed this year. Like, they've just come out, all flying cylinders, and they've got there deservedly where they are at the moment. Only 3 points off the top with South Shields, who've been like almost unstoppable in the opening 2 months of the season. I think South Shields, they're still unbeaten at the moment as well. Because that's an extraordinary feat, like for 10 games in, and what is such a tough division. Yes, they've got a big budget behind them, South Shields, and they've got a lot of good experience in that team that have been and done it at a higher level. But you can only beat what's in front of you, and there's still big expectation on them, I would have thought. So that for the likes of Scarborough to be staying with them at the moment, like after 10 games, massive credit to them.
100%. Just going to the chat, we have. Bear with me, sorry guys. David has put, it's probably happened loads, clashing with the referee too. Don't know if any of you guys have seen the referee on, I think it was at our game against Halifax on Wednesday. They had a lovely purple number on. I'm really liking the purple look. Really am. Ben has put, I was at that Truro Dorking game, fully thought Mark had done it intentionally just to mess with Truro. Who knows? Who knows? Chris has put as well on Scarborough. Scarborough really are the surprise right now with all the off-field issues. And then we have got Matt as well. He has put South Shields, keep rolling on, looking strong for promotion. Looking very strong, because I know, like we've said, there's been a few people who've come in here week in, week out and said, yeah, but they do have the budget. But it's not necessarily having the budget, because you can have all the money in the world behind you, but you've still got to get results on the pitch, haven't you? And we've seen time and time again with teams where they've had the money, but they've obviously, it's not worked on the pitch.
I think, especially National League North, York, Halifax, and Stockport all took several years as like the big fish in that smaller pond. All spent a few years down there. I know we did for it was like 2 or 3 years, like ignoring COVID out of it. There was 2 years, I think we finished 11th and 12th, and we wasted so much money on players that had fallen out of the Football League and just players that weren't good enough and didn't have the hunger and were dropping down to National League North for the paycheck. So yes, they've got the money, but you've got to find the right player profile and the player that wants to be there and wants to win a promotion rather than just, this will be easy, we'll cash a check and we'll move on. With the Scarborough Kings Lynn game as well, I think both teams dealing with the off-field issues because Kings Lynn have recently lost James Rowe as manager. Scarborough aren't playing at home, so it was a bit of a weird one. I'm not surprised it's high scoring, but it's something that you have to mention that both teams are dealing with off-field issues at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I know me being one of them, Scarborough, and I know there was a couple of angry Scarborough fans that actually said about the predictions, and I'm eating my words at the moment because I thought their pitch issues, that would obviously take its toll on them. But touch wood at the moment, it's not, and hopefully they can continue the run that they're on because they're really, really surprising me. They really, really are. Right. let's look at the table. So, top of the table, we have South Shields on 26 points, Scarborough a second on 23 points, AFC Fylde a third on 22 points. Chris, this one's for you. Spennymoor Town a fourth on 20 points, Chorley a fifth on 19 points, Radcliffe a sixth on 18 points, and Kidderminster a seventh on 16 points. And then in the relegation zone, 21st, we have Aldershot Town on 9 points, Oxford City a 22nd on 7 points, Southport a 23rd on 7 points, and bottom of the league, but they did get a win, as we mentioned, Peterborough Sports do have 7 points. Really, really quickly.
Do you know what
Sean, go on, sorry, Lee. Go on,
Do you know
you're
I've
right.
just noticed as well, seeing that table on the bottom four, all the teams that I picked are not in the bottom four.
Jim Bentley's fault.
I know Jim Bentley's fault, isn't it?
What's that?
Oh, remember.
Yes.
I also find it funny looking at that table. When you look at the goal differences, you got Merthyr in 8th, negative goal difference. Yeah. Hereford 10th, negative goal difference. King's Lynn are below them, +5. And then Darlington, 18th, 10 games, 10 points, 1 goal difference. Like, you look at all the goal differences, it's a weird league.
We didn't mention as well, Hereford, obviously, they did get a win as well, didn't they, against Leamington? 2-1 win. 2-1 win. We do have Sean in the chat as well. Hi guys, hope all is well. Congratulations to my local side, AFC Rushden and Diamonds, qualifying for the first round properly in the FA Trophy, and condolences to their rivals Kettering, who got knocked out. I remember playing Rushden and Diamonds years ago. We actually had them in a playoff match, I'm pretty sure. How times change, wow. Do remember Rushden and Diamonds. But National League South results. For the moment, Morgan, me and you,
I'll stay quiet.
Take a little relax. I'm going to come to you firstly, because there's been a lot happening at Worthing, hasn't there? Obviously last week. So do you just want to talk to us about the managerial departure first?
Chris has left. He's gone to Sutton. Which, I mean, in a way, I'm sad that he's left Worthing, because he has done a really good job at the club. Even though there were quite a lot of fans getting on his back this season. But as I said before the show started, you're bedding in a new team. He lost a lot of players over the summer, and he's brought in between 7 and 8 new players that you're having to bed in, to work into a system that a lot of the players that left were used to. So, yeah, I mean, we're not having the best season, but we're not having a terrible season. You know, we're not fighting. We're not in the bottom 4. So, you know, we're not fighting a relegation battle. I know it's still early, but yeah, we lost at the weekend 1-0, but we're now going ahead with no manager yet. So obviously Chris is gone. He's gone to Sutton. So that's a great move for him, and it's a step up as well. And I messaged him and wished him all the luck at Sutton. But yeah, we just have to wait and see what Worthing do now. Got a big game Monday, which is against Robbie Savage's Forest Green in the Cup. But also, it has been talked, and it's been mentioned a couple of times, that Hinshelwood could be coming back.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what sort of direction they go. But yeah, at the moment, his name is the only one that's been talked about.
From a game perspective, obviously Maidenhead did win 1-0. Did you catch any of it?
Catch a few of the highlights. Saturday night. to be fair, Maidenhead deserved it. They played a really good game, shut us out, kept it at 1-0. There were a few glimpses of a Worthing comeback, but Maidenhead just sort of played their game and locked us out and came away with a home win at 1-0. But yeah, I mean, there's been a few games like that this season where we've been attack, and we just can't put the ball in the back of the net. And I think that's something that's got to be worked on going forward with whoever is in charge. If it's Hinchelwood, great. Maybe he could bring Ollie Pearce back on loan for the rest of the season.
So
he does only score penalties for York. So
it's not happening.
We'll take him back. So there's that. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think though we're gonna pick it up. We're gonna have a run of form, and then we're just gonna go from there. But I do not think we'll be playoffs this season.
I love how you still think Ollie Pearce is coming back.
Liv, you hit your head since he signed that contract? Because him and Felix signed contracts like 10 days ago. Have you like had an accident since, or?
No. There's hope. I can hope.
Jim Bentley's still on Lee's mind.
There you go.
What does everyone else think about, obviously, him departing Worthing? Think it's a good move going to Sutton?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one. I think.
Yeah.
I spoke on Luke Walsh's podcast. I think he's a good coach, and done a decent job at Worthing. I think he's probably the sort of manager that you would want to make sort of in a summer where he's got a full summer behind him to get his ideas across. Is he the sort of manager that you want when you're coming into a team that are lacking experience in a relegation battle? Yeah, I don't know. He's a good coach, obviously improves players, and I think he will really enjoy that challenge at Sutton because there's some really exciting young players there, which I think he'll really like to try and develop and bring on. Obviously they've gone down the route of youth again, rather than sort of an experienced name. Obviously, talk of Hinchelwood, as Lee says, which I think would be a bit of a coup. I don't think they're probably in that sort of waters yet. I think Hinchelwood's probably going to be looking for a job higher. Probably the way it's going, I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's probably waiting for the Crawley job, local to him, or certainly a job in the Football League, because he certainly deserved a higher chance. But it'd be interesting to see what route Worthing go now, whether they go for another young manager or whether they go for some experience. I think if the recent record tells you anything, I think it's probably the former, and I think they'll probably go with a younger coach.
Ben, have you got any thoughts on this as well?
It's a risky move from Sutton. I'll be totally honest. I think just because of the lack of experience, and like as Joe was just saying, he's come into a completely different challenge where he's only ever known really to bring success to a football club. And when you're down at the bottom, and Sutton are one of those sides, again, you'd expect to be in and around near the playoffs. Obviously, only being EFL only a couple of years ago. But also, would it change the dynamic of how Sutton play? Because obviously, I know Chris sort of just kept on what Adam Hinchelwood did. Obviously, we're playing from the back. Looking to be one of the best sides, footballing sides in the league. Does he try and do that at Sutton? With the way it's going at the moment, it's really hard to say because it's going to take time for them to bed in. In fact, they've got a point. Obviously, we'll talk about it in the National League page, but in fact, they've got a point on Saturday. Is obviously a step in the right direction for them.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's something for him to build on. The worst thing that you can possibly do as a new manager is get off to a losing start. And I think if you can just get something on the board, then you've got something to work around. But it is big shoes to fill, Worthing, because I really don't think that they were that far off. That they've been very close the last 3 seasons they've been in the playoffs, and it's just not happened for them. And so it happens for some clubs where they just can't seem to get it done in the playoffs. And, where it is a case of where do they go from here? Because they're in a bit of a difficult position. But I think that's the thing. Having seen them obviously playing against Maidstone, I think they really weren't that far off. You could see glimpses of what they're trying to do. They are, maybe a couple of signings away, maybe from being able to, really push on in the league. But yeah, it's a difficult one. I don't really know who would come in. I'm agreeing with Joe. I don't think Incher would probably be hoping for the goal. I mean, he'd probably be privileged to have the call back up, but I think he would be hoping for something higher. Because I think he sort of earned it. Look, he was very, very close at York, and it's just obviously on the night just didn't go their way in the playoffs. But yeah, it's a big challenge for whoever goes in next, because they've got to live up to, because fans have got a big expectation there now of getting promoted, and someone's got to meet that challenge.
Do you know what? I've got the perfect man for the job, Lee. Jim Bentley.
I would agree with that as well, I reckon.
Jim, we put the call out.
Because you're such a fan.
I'm never going to live that down, am I?
Never, honestly. We've got Sean in the chat. He's put, AFC Tottenham fan here, just tuned in. Chuffed us nuts with us and how we are doing. Truro City in the FA Cup Saturday, a repeat of the 2007 FA Vars final. We shall see. Before I come to you, Joe, and you, Ben, Morgan, I'm going to come to you. Is there any on here that stand out to you, or just any you want to give a mention to?
I mean, Tottenham's just been mentioned in the chat, and I seem to say it almost every week with them. They came up, and I had someone who I know lives in the Brighton area texting me being like, we've just signed this player from York, and it was Tyler Cordner. I was like, how do you think he'll do? And they didn't have high expectations. They're still in the playoffs. 3-1 against a Western-super-Mare team who were just outside the playoffs last year. That's a really good result, and it feels like it's one of those teams that they come up, it's like, when's this bubble going to burst? But we're into October now, and it's not burst, and it's like, well, how long can this go on for? They could be the shock of the season. I know there's going to be shocks up and down the table. Obviously, Dorking are currently outside the playoffs. Dagenham are having a terrible year. Eastbourne are miles off compared to where they were last year. There's shocks up and down the table, but for me, it's Tottenham. And I'd seem to say it every week. They're just not falling away yet, and it's really, really impressive that a team that step into the sixth tier into the National League South can be quite difficult, because that's when you get teams coming down from the National League, when you're facing these bigger budgets of Dorking, of Maidstone, of obviously Dagenham have had that takeover. Torquay were up there last year. Like, you've got these teams, Maidenhead as well, you've got these teams that are dropping down from the National League, have this professional experience. You'd expect them to struggle when they face these other teams, and Tottenham just aren't struggling. They're just continuing to go on. They're doing really, really well. Oh, okay. If it was done 10 minutes, it makes it different. You had to cut me off. It seems to make the point. But yeah, I think it's just it might be different if it was 11v11, but it's a really good win for Tottenham to just keep going.
I think sometimes it's harder to play against 10 men. I really do. That might be a Rochdale thing, though.
Do you want me to get a man sent off then?
I know. Don't. Merit has put evening all, no Rob tonight. What a shame. I wonder why. We've not done National League yet, though, so please feel free to stay and send in your match reports, and to anybody else as well. Right, Ben and Joe, I'm going to make you suffer for a little bit longer. I'm going to come to you, but you've got to give me a different result. Joe, I'll come to you first. Any other games you want to talk about on here?
Yeah, I'll probably go with Tonbridge Angels. I think obviously they made that change with the manager. Obviously getting rid of Craig Nelson, which I think probably came as a bit of a surprise, because they just picked up their form, had a couple of really good results. So the timing of it was certainly surprising. But obviously gone with Alan Dunn, formerly of Millwall and Bromley, and he's done a really good job so far. Had a couple of decent wins, through in the FA Cup as well. And then obviously that win against a Dover team who have come up and started pretty well. So, I've been quite impressed with the job he's done so far, albeit only a couple of games. But certainly the signs are quite positive.
Completely agree with that. Ben, you can't talk about Maidstone yet. You're not allowed. Any of the games.
I mean, I think, to be honest, there's probably a couple. I think going for Eastbourne actually first, getting a good point at they're still waiting for that first win of the season, albeit they're not bottom of the league, surprisingly, with that. They had to get a last-minute equaliser, albeit it was a bit of fortune. Mark Cousins completely shanked his clearance in the 90th minute, and then they've scored a tap-in. 2 points dropped really for Ebbsfleet. I think Josh Wright was very angry. How it sort of fell to them. And that's a difficult one for them to take. But I think the big one for me is probably actually Slough against Hampton. Slough obviously have been a bit indifferent start this season for them. Maybe a bit different to what they're used to. But again, they're still hanging on there. A couple of wins and they're something in and around near the playoff area. And to go away from home against a Hampton side who we've talked about a few times, that Alan Julian side have started off brilliantly, still in the top 7, albeit even with that loss. But 3-2, loss, and Scotty Davis as well getting on the score sheet again for him. He's still banging them in there down to the Red Bulls. But again, really really pleased with them because it's been a bit of a difficult start for them. They always seem to lose their best players in the summer, and they always have to keep rebuilding. But they never have a never say die attitude, and coming away from home with 3 points against a very good side. Scotty Davis, I think he was absolutely thrilled. I saw a few his tweets out, and he was absolutely delighted to come away with that, and respected Hampton for the game they gave him. So I think it was it was a very close affair.
Just going to really quickly go to the chat because we do have Steve, who is a Slough fan. So his match report is, we were comfortable all game, took an early lead. Hampton and Richmond probably could have gone down to 10 for a last man tackle, but Scotty scored the free kick, so who cares? Gave away a stupid penalty to let. And then part 2. Ben back in the game, came out flying in the second half and made it 3-1, conceded in added time to make it nervy. But when your defence consists of 2 CMs and a winger, you're going to concede goals. And he has also put, let me find them. I'm having a mare at this today. Honestly, I'm really rusty. We're doing okay, struggling with injuries to our defence, and our goalkeeper is suspended for 2 games. But we are chugging along. And we have a really good record against Hampton and Richmond. Just really quickly in the chat, we have got Chris. He's put Dagenham are really terrible at the moment. Really, really terrible. Graham has put up the Stones, a win, and actually scored goals. What a time to be alive. We have got as well Graham, who's put Farnborough versus Bath and Ebbsfleet versus Eastbourne, providing the Desmonds. # Desmond Watch. I know Sam has mentioned as well in the chat about the Desmonds. He loves a good Desmond and a double Desi now and again. Dagenham and Redbridge fans have turned on the chairman, and I don't blame them. And Bradbury is under incredible amounts of pressure. He could get the sack next. And then we've got Greenacres, who's put Horsham getting a draw at top of the table. Hornchurch is pretty decent. Very, very good result against them. And of course, surprised no one's mentioned. I'm joking. Because obviously I know Chippenham are struggling at the moment. But he's even spelt it the way I say it. But I've been proving you wrong, Sean, because I can pronounce my H's now. Chippenham Town 0, Hemel Hempstead 1. See? I've actually been taking speaking lessons. I'm now posh. I'm posh and sophisticated. Yeah, right.
Are you going to pronounce your stones and stones correctly, Shaw?
Probably not, no. Not far yet. One team at a time, Morgan. One team at a time.
We're going to have some angry Wealdstone fans or Wealdstone fans, aren't we?
I know. Ben, I will come on to you, though, because obviously Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Maidstone United 2. There you go, Morgan.
I had to think about that one.
I did. Talk to us.
It was much needed. I think we've had a very tough September. We haven't scored a goal. We lost 4 games in a row, in all competitions, obviously out of the FA Cup as well. And to be honest, probably playing Dagenham at this time was probably the best we could have hoped for. And it proved, to be honest, if I'm a Dagenham fan right now, I'm really worried. They were woeful, and I mean woeful. And I cannot believe it only ended 2-1, to be honest. Because, to be honest, we were up against the wind first half. and we created more than enough chances in the first 20 minutes or so. We'd hit the bar, good save from Sam Howes and the goal for Dagenham, but it just wouldn't go in. And then the bit of quality we've been praying for has come. Anthony Papadopoulos back on loan from Crawley Town. We've been asking for this, and he just added so much more creativity and calmness in that final third, and he just made it look so easy at times. And it was actually, obviously there was talks of it being his goal. It was never his goal. It was an own goal from Corey Panther as he tried to play the ball across. Took a slight deflection over Howes into the goal, and it was one of those where we said before the game, if we can get the first goal, their fans will start turning on the manager. And as soon as it went in, shout to Bradbury out, coming out from all ends of the stadium. And then, you think, right, okay, we just need to try and get a second goal, really turn it on them, and then they will cave under the pressure. But to be fair to Dagenham, they did come back into it. They're probably their first big clear-cut chance of the game, managed to score from. Ashley Hemmings, he's such an experienced forward, done brilliantly at Kidderminster Harriers, in the last few years. And he was probably one of the big talismans going into that side. Sort of going low, and then then it all game sort of turning a bit of a on its head a little bit, because about seconds later we could have been 2-1 down. Donovan Wilson appeared to look to have been fouled by Nathan Harness at the time. I thought it was a Stonewall penalty at the time, but look at the replay, tell you what, and I'm normally the first one to criticise ref, but what a fantastic decision, because he jumped over him, he tried to leave his foot in, trying to initiate the contact. And it was never a penalty, and they haven't scored from the initial advantage. And obviously Bradbury wasn't very happy, got booked at the end of it. But then come to half time, and then look, we needed to get that goal, and it was an interesting one, because Theo Kurtran, who we've only had for the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks, he's been in and out, he's done okay. Pulls out this absolute thunderbolt from about 25 yards out into the top corner. Again, I don't know if the wind's helped it slightly, but it's one of those, as soon as he left his foot, he was scoring, and it was an absolute blinder and worthy of winning any football match. And then, to be honest, really, we were fairly comfortable. I don't really think Dagenham causes a lot of problems. I don't really think they've tested Nathan Harness. And as I say, you could feel the toxicity around the place. I mean, everyone's talking about, is Lee Bradbury the next one to get the sack? If he's going to get the sack, their owners actually need to start turning up to the games, because there was meant to be a protest from the Dagenham fans beforehand, but it doesn't look like anyone showed up for it. And, look, their feelings were known at the end of the game. I went out and pitched to get the scenes and that, obviously the players going towards our fans, and you could hear everyone shouting abuse at Bradbury and the players, and it's not a good place to be at the moment. You can feel that, straight away. And it is hard to watch, because, for a club, obviously they've got a good history. They were League One not that long ago, and they're now in the bottom 4 of the National League South, and they've only won 1 game so far this season. It's not good enough, for a side Dagenham Redbridge. And I've got Andy Carroll in front of me in the stand. Obviously, I think he was suspended for the game. And I'm looking at him, I'm going what on earth has he walked into? It's an absolute, I think the fair fans will probably use the word circus at the moment. And something's got to change there. And that's the thing, I would be extremely worried if I'm a Dagenham fan, because their recruitment is clearly been shown it's not good enough. A lot of those players caved in, and they are caving into the pressure, and it's so hard. But really pleased for George and the players. It was just nice to see some smile on their faces for a change, because it's been a tough month for them. A lot of questions have been asked. I wouldn't be afraid to say that I've asked a few probably questions of them as well. But they've done a tremendous job in getting the 3 points, because that was a huge pressure game for us. But I'm glad we got the win.
Smiling?
For once, I know.
No?
We have 2 weeks on the spin now. That's all I want.
I know. Joe, talk to us. Salisbury 0, Torquay United 1. You've waited very patiently. I am sorry.
It's our first away win of the season, and a well-deserved win. The scoreline looks like it was a really close game, but I thought Torquay were brilliant. First half, we should have been out of sight, really. Scored after a couple of minutes. There was a collector's item, because Jordan Young actually missed a penalty, which you don't often see. And we also missed an open goal as well. So we could have been 3 or 4 up at half time. We had to do quite a bit of defending in the second half, but I think that's one thing that we're actually fairly good at doing. Even though we haven't had that many clean sheets, when we take the lead, we're actually pretty good at seeing them out. And Salisbury, in fairness, didn't create a great deal. Their only real shot of note came from Matt Taylor, who came on in the second half. A fantastic save from James Hammond to keep it at 1-0. And yeah, I think Paul Watton would be delighted with that, because there's been a lot of people saying that, we can't win away from home, which I don't get on board with. Yes, we perhaps haven't started as well as we would have liked away from home, but most teams struggle away from home compared to their home form, and we haven't dropped a point at home. So yeah, a good win for us, and yeah, good 3 points on the road.
Love to hear it. Do you know what I was thinking? Exactly the same thing what Alan said. Where is it? I'm sure he'll come in very, very soon. Very soon.
I mean, are you surprised though, Joe, by Salisbury's start? Because I think I had them tipped to do really well this year, and with the signings they made, it's quite surprising. I mean, they're bottom of the league at the moment, aren't they? I mean, were you surprised with their performance on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit surprised. I think to their credit, I think they have got quite a few players out injured. Josh Hedges wasn't available. Tom Davies wasn't available. Mike Atkinson as well, who was brilliant last year for Hampton. And Tommy Willard, Ollie Bray. So they had quite a lot of players out and unavailable. So I think they're certainly better when they can get those players back. But yeah, they look like a naive team, a lot of youngsters, certainly the back line, a lot of young players. And when you've got, certainly the quality that Torquay have got, Dylan Morgan coming on in the second half, Jordan Young, Louis Dennis, who ran the show. He must be on at least 50 now nutmegs for the season. And our new striker as well, in Cian Dillon, who we signed from QPR, who seems like he's a bit of a star in the making, if you believe what QPR fans say. So, yeah, I certainly think that they need to improve quickly, because if they keep playing like that, they had a lot of the ball but didn't really do a great deal with it. And when you get carved open like they did in the first half, then it's no surprise that they're struggling to get results.
Just wanted to say to anyone in the chat, we are going on to National League very, very soon. We are doing both weeks. So please send your match reports in if you do want to send them in. But we will quickly look at the table. So we do have Hornchurch there in first place on 25 points. Weston-super-Mare a second on 22 points. Torquay United a third on 20 points. Maidenhead a fourth on 20 points. AFC Totton are fifth on 19 points. Hemel Hempstead are sixth on 19 points. Hampton and Richmond are seventh on 16 points. And in the relegation zone, we have in 21st, Dagenham and Redbridge on 7 points. Eastbourne Borough are 22nd on 5 points. Chippenham Town are 23rd on 5 points. And bottom of the National League South, we do have Salisbury on 5 points. Right. So National League. So the midweek games. I'll come to you first, Joe. Anyone here you want to give a mention to?
I'll probably have to give a mention to Gateshead. Obviously, we haven't got Jen with us tonight, but Morecambe obviously started great, certainly playing some good football, but I think they forgot that they've actually got to defend in games. 4-0 down after 12 minutes, was it, against Gateshead? And I know that obviously their manager has said that they're going to be, one of the best footballing teams. Unfortunately, when you concede 5 at home, you aren't going to be winning many games.
Yeah.
But Gateshead, I've been quite impressed with them. They've been better away from home. Kane Adom's been brilliant. The former Welling player, he's been probably their standout player. I think Morecambe, obviously, as we'll come on to the next game for them. Obviously, they had to bounced back and showed that they got a little bit more about them rather than they did against Gateshead at home. And obviously they showed that against Tamworth with a really reasonable point, which not many teams will probably get at Tamworth this season. But yeah, maybe that's the wake-up call that they needed, Morecambe, because they have played some nice stuff, but defensively they are pretty shocking at the moment.
I just wanted to apologise as well. I've just seen that Halifax, I've not put them in green. I promise it wasn't done deliberately. It wasn't done deliberately, I promise. And I will talk about the Rochdale Halifax game a little bit later, but I do promise if there's any Halifax in there, don't come at me. It's just an error, I promise. Morgan, I'm going to come to you, but I don't want you to talk York yet.
Oh, right, okay.
Which you're probably happy about on this one.
Yeah, probably am actually, because it was a long evening. Where do I start? Probably Woking Solihull, because neither team have really stood out at all this year. Woking obviously got Neil Ardley in last year and stayed up, and I was thinking when Ardley was at York, I was quite a big supporter of him. So when he went to Woking, I was like, cool, he's got a full summer, he can build the squad he wants. He did well at Solihull, he did well at Notts County. So Woking have had a really weird year and not really kicked into gear at all. Going away, I know Solihull have had their problems. They've sacked Matt Taylor. They've had their issues, but a 3-0 away win for Woking's really quite impressive and might be what they need to kickstart the season. I know we'll probably get onto it when we get around to Saturday's games, but I feel like that's quite a big win for Woking. Getting goals, keeping a clean sheet away from home, that's big, and it might be what kickstarts their season.
Lee, have you got any on here you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I'm not going to talk Aldershot this week. I'm going to go Boston Forest Green.
Yes.
I've got to say, really good home draw for Boston against an informed Forest Green side. I think they sort of Boston really dug in deep. Yes, it was a 0-0, but it was for them, for the Boston side, a really decent 0-0 draw. And to go away at home with a point. And when we say, to go away from home with a point, it doesn't sound right. Most teams at home should be winning, but yeah, against a Robbie Savage Forest Green, I say it's a really good draw for Boston.
Definitely. Ben, have you got any on here you want to talk about? You can pick a couple if you want, whatever you want to do.
Can I be honest with you? Rochdale
you can pick it honestly. Yeah. No, 100%. We
know obviously, you guys have had an absolute stormer to the season and probably better than what anyone could have hoped for, to be honest. But you got to give some credit to Halifax. Obviously, the first was home defeat 100%. Of the season for Rochdale. It's Halifax obviously have been slowly, progressively getting better, and I think now they're starting to hit that bit of form now where they've been, a hard nut to crack, and obviously now it's probably. I know obviously Rochdale pulled back, with a great win, obviously, which we'll talk about. But the fact is, though, it's maybe brought them back down to earth a little bit because, when you're on an absolute high, it's keeping focused all the time.
Yeah.
And, sometimes Tuesday night games can throw you off a little bit because sometimes players do tend to turn up and expect to win. But for Halifax, that's a terrific away result for them. And, again, one that they'll be thinking, look, we can compete against the top side still. Because probably a lot of questions we're going to be asked in the summer whether they can live up to the expectations that they have done in the last couple of seasons. But they've gone to one of the big favourites for the league title, and beating them on their own patch. It's a great result for them. But I think that's got to be the standout of that game week for me.
100%.
And just to mention to Josh Hamami, who's been brilliant this season for Halifax. I mean, it's credit to Adam Lakeland for how he's always been a decent player, a really hard-working player, but to turn him into, he's played virtually every position for Halifax. He's more naturally a defensive midfielder. He's played obviously as an attacking midfielder, getting those goals against Rochdale. He's even played as a centre-half this year for Halifax. So, yeah, he's been really, really impressive for them.
Honestly, I was going to say exactly the same. I'll read Danny's match report out first and then I'll have my say just while we're talking about it. So he's put Dale versus Halifax. Wednesday, got to give the credit. They were clinical and we missed way too many chances. Inamame, they looked to have a real player there. I completely agree. Like, he was very, very good. Took his goals very, very well. I really do want to give Halifax credit where credit's due, because they came with a game plan and they had 2 or 3 defenders on Desirue and they completely took him out of the game. Like, they completely took him out of the game. And like Danny said, we had several chances, but it was one of them games where, when you're going to lose because nothing was going your way, like the amount of chances we had, especially the second half when Devante Rodney came on, we absolutely peppered their goalkeeper. And honestly, it was so frustrating, but it was one of them games. And as we mentioned with Adam Lakeland, I think including the weekend's game, they've won 5 in a row, Halifax. And considering the frustrating start to the season, they really, really played well. They've got a lot of solid players, physical players. And like I said, Desirue just wasn't in the game. And it's one of them where no Rochdale fan could... Obviously, you're disappointed because you do want to keep winning games, but we're not going to win every game. Halifax came, they did the job, like I mentioned, but at the same time, we did have them chances second half. We probably should have put a couple of them chances away. Their goalkeeper was very, very good. Ryan East had a couple of chances. Obviously, Devante Rodney got the goal. But yeah, it's one of them where we tried that second half, it didn't work out, and you've just got to move on to the next game. And honestly, that was, I know obviously I am a Dale fan, but that was probably my standout of this game week, because they came Halifax and did the job and they got the 3 points. So yeah, very, very good win for them. Right, really quickly in the chat, because we do have Luke. He has put Morecambe away. 4 goals in 13 minutes, and I genuinely couldn't believe my eyes. What I was witnessing. Played superb during that game. Shame we conceded, but oh well, we still won. Anyways, Morgan, I'll come to you. Do you want to talk to us about the York game, and then I'll go back to the chat?
Yeah, can do. The best thing about that game was doing the commentary for it. It's always fun doing that. Knowing my voice on DAZN, so if anyone wants to hear more of me, go back to the highlights. But we didn't turn up at all. Scunthorpe came with a brilliant plan, and it just felt like the Oldham playoff semi-final all over again. It was a team with a big away following. They brought 1,500. They sold out the away end, as several teams do. And they came and they made loads of noise. And I was in the commentary box like 2 hours before kickoff, hour and a half before kickoff, and from about an hour before kickoff, there was a group of Scunthorpe fans behind the goal with a drum making noise, and that just didn't stop. Their fans were absolutely brilliant. I'll put that out there. But Andy Butler and their team came with a plan and they executed it to perfection. They got in our faces, they pressed high, and they just didn't let us get on the ball. They scored in the 44th minute. Might have been a little bit later. It was right on the edge of half time. And I was in the back of my mind, I was like, if they score now, it'll really hurt. We were praying for half time. If we got in 0-0 at half time, we would have been okay. And they scored that and they just ran with it. It was a great finish from Alfie Beeston. It was from a corner, and I think it was Andrew Boyce swung a leg at it, completely air shot it, and our defenders just didn't react to the second one. We all expected Andrew Boyce to finish, and he just completely missed the ball. Alfie Beeston then just smashed it into the bottom corner, through a crowd, bottom corner, great goal. And they went in 1-0, and it was kind of, where do we go from here? We had no game plan. It felt like it was their midfield 3 against 1. I think Hiram Boateng was the only York midfielder that stood out. Ollie Banks looked miles off it. He had just come back from a hamstring injury, and he looked miles off it. Alex Hunt went quiet. It was just, we didn't seem to have a midfield, and Boateng seemed to look really good because he was doing the work of 2 or 3 players and trying to do enough, and he just wasn't able to. Second half, they come out, and I'm not entirely sure the timing on the goals. I can't quite remember it, but their second goal came from a penalty, where I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but someone played a back pass. Might have been Joe Gray. Played a back pass to Harrison Mayle, and he just underhit it. Mayle comes out, and the forward gets in there. I think it was Sellers Fleming, who got there first. Who was a brilliant sub. He was really, really quick off the bench. Their forward gets there first, takes it past Mayle, and gets taken out. He only gets booked. Right decision, but they have a penalty in front of their fans, and I think it was Beeston again, stepped up, finished it 2-0. We got them back in the 94th minute or something like that. Ollie Pearce was left unmarked in the box, and he scored a header, but it didn't matter. We were pushing for the equaliser, pushing, and then they went up the other end, and Sellers Fleming just beat everyone for pace and finished it really well. They were excellent, came with a game plan, their fans were brilliant. They were a lot more physical than us, and they got the result, and I think that kept them undefeated at that point, and they were just really, really good that night. Frustrating one, but they were brilliant.
Frustrating for both of us, Morgan.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. We have got Merritt in the chat as well, and he's put obviously about the Southend result. We should have smashed Boreham Wood all over them, especially the first half. Boreham Wood. Quickly in the chat, let's have a look. Ollie Pearce goal from open play. Shocker. What have he got in for Ollie Pearce?
Thing is, any striker in the league would have scored that. He was left unmarked. Like, he scored a header because he was left unmarked. He's 5'10". Like, if they put their centre-backs near him like they had done for the other 90 minutes, he wouldn't have got near it. They marked him brilliantly. He didn't get a sniff. And, yeah, he scored, but it didn't really mean anything in the end.
To be fair, though, right, Danny is a Dale fan. And he's saying that, so guaranteed that's going to come back and bite us on the backside on Saturday. So, no, Danny, come on, let's stop.
No, shot. You know when it'll hurt? It'll be the last day of the season when something actually matters.
Yes. Hopefully we've won it by then. I'm joking, by the way, everyone. I'm not getting carried away. You know what?
No, he's going to score a hat-trick for us to win the title. That hat-trick, and we'll come back to that comment from Danny.
Not a chance.
Can I just say...
Of course.
Can I just say, I'm feeling like Ollie Pearce isn't being appreciated in this league, but I know where he is appreciated. So if he wants to drop that down, then I'm happy.
He's not appreciated after scoring 31 last season. I don't know what else he has to do.
Come to Dale, Ollie.
You've got enough strikers as it is.
One more won't hurt.
If we can have a Manji back.
It's only on loan till January. You can have him for the latter end of the season. I'm only joking. I do like Levi and Manchester. So if he does come across this, I don't want you to go, Levi. I was only joking. Anybody else got any others they do want to mention on here? Because one thing I was really shocked about doing the graphics, I didn't realise how low down Altrincham are in the league. Shocking.
Yeah, I mean, I watched them the week before last against Yeovil, and you can tell that they're a really well coached team, but they're almost just past it for the sake of it. You know, there's no. Whereas when they had the likes of Chris Clark and Newby, etc., they were able to, work it into the wide areas and then, get to goal. It's almost as if they're brilliant in the middle in creating the chances, and then they get to that final third, and then they almost like, oh no, we turn back.
Yeah.
Hopefully, obviously, they've brought in Billy Waters, which I think is a terrific signing. Someone that I really liked when he was at Torquay. Perhaps not an out-and-out goal scorer, but certainly someone that will link it all together. And yeah, I mean, I think they'll be fine because they got a really good manager. But yeah, I mean, it's the National League for you, isn't it? A couple of bad results and you're suddenly sucked into the bottom couple of places.
It's crazy. Honestly, like I said, I didn't realise, because I know we've mentioned them a couple of times on here, but then as I were doing the graphics and looking, I was like, wow, I didn't realise how far they've obviously dropped. Because not that long ago, they were pretty mid-table.
It's what happens when you lose Amaluz and Newby in the same summer. It's like, if they're good in the midfield and then they get to the attack and it's like, the players that usually would create something for them just aren't there because one's at Grimsby and one's at York. It's like you're going to struggle. I think they'll find the right players. They've got Waters in. I think they'll find the other creative sparks in there and they'll be okay. But it's what happens in the first couple of months when you lost 2 big attacking players.
And of course, Regan Linner.
Oh, yeah, the big one.
The big one. Anybody else got any others you want to give a mention to before we move on to weekends?
No.
I mean, the Yeovil fans not in to celebrate the win. Where is it? Where is it?
You don't want to talk about Saturday, that's why.
I know, I know.
I suppose I'll have to take the mantle on Yeovil with the Junior Moraes fan club not here. But yeah, I mean, obviously good win for Yeovil. The fact that they obviously lost on Saturday to a really, really good team in Boreham Wood. The fact that they won that game at Sutton is really important. And for them to keep that little run of wins going. I think Richard Dryden's started really well as in life as Yeovil manager. Obviously, there was 1 or 2 question marks when he took the job. Really nice to see Aaron Jarvis back on the score sheet. Loved him when he was at Torquay. Certainly someone that works really hard. And obviously, it was only a penalty, but penalties you can miss them. I obviously saw one from my own team on the weekend. So yeah, a good win for them to follow up that win against Altrincham.
Just really quickly, I did want to address as well. I know, Aled, you have sent your match report for Merthyr after the National League. Before we do the sign-outs, I will read it, I promise. And I should have known it was going to be a bad day when we played Halifax, because I think this is why I was poorly as well, because me and my sister couldn't finish off our pies, and we love a good pie at football. And I should have known just from there it was going to be a really, really bad result and a shocking day. So, Graham, I don't know what happened. I think that was the start of why I was poorly as well. Just didn't have it in me to eat the rest of my pie. It's not like us. Not like us. But yes, National League, the weekend's results. Morgan, do you want me to come to you first on this one?
Yeah, can do.
Hartlepool United 1, York City 2.
Yeah, I wasn't there, unfortunately. I've done Hartlepool away the last 2 seasons. It's never one you look forward to. It's one of our closest games, but it's the away end. It holds about 700 and we sell it out incredibly quickly. And then the police make it such an unpleasant experience. I think it was all right this time. I don't know if anyone else has bad experiences at Hartlepool away, but Cleveland police turn up in full riot gear and they treat you like you are the scum of the earth. It's a horrible, horrible experience. I know last year we were stood there and they have 2 turnstiles for away fans. You've got home fans going in one right next to us, and you've got police everywhere, full riot gear. We've had dogs attacking our fans at the station, like people being hit with batons and stuff like that. Cleveland police make it a horrible experience. So I just wanted to mention that.
Is that because you're a hooligan, Morgan?
Yes, it is. I carry Stone Island and flares everywhere, Charles. That's me.
Don't be coming to Rochdale then on Saturday. I'll have to hide.
You'll see me doing Chef Wednesday and protesting on the pitch.
You've outed yourself now.
But the game itself, it's carried on a weird record for us. We're still unbeaten away from home, yet we've lost twice at home. Lost to Scunthorpe, we just mentioned, and we lost to Solihull. The 2 games I've done commentary for, we've lost, which is great. But we're still unbeaten away from home. And it was a game, from what I gathered, we were just the better team. We went 1-0 up in the first half, and it was a bit of a pinball. Alex Newby's shot, they tried to clear it off the line, but it had just trickled over. And then we got a penalty a few minutes later that, to be fair, wasn't a penalty when I've seen it. There's a shot and Max Coogan's arm is out, but he's a yard or 2 away from the forward when it's hit. So it was a bit of a harsh penalty to give anyway. Ollie Pearce steps up and puts it in Rose Ed somehow. He just absolutely skied it, which is unbelievable for a player that is mocked every time he scores a penalty for him to miss. He's missed 2 now. It's a bit weird for Pearce to not be scoring them.
Yeah.
But we're 1-0 up at half time, and we were the better team, but 1-0 up away is never a fun one. I know, Ben, you said it's a nice way to win a game. It is when you can see it out, but there's always that bit of nerve in you that, are we going to? We made it 2-0 in the second half. They equalised quite quick. They got one back quite quickly afterwards. The goal came, I'm trying to think who scored it. Oh, Ben Brooks scored it. It was a nice bit of football. I'm so sorry.
Ben's fuming. You've rattled him now. He had a big smile on his face. Now he's fuming.
Yeah, Ben Brooks at the back post. Really, really nicely worked move. And then he's just there. I'm really happy for him because I think every game he's played, he's come in the 90th minute and played 5 or 6 minutes of added time. And that's it. He barely had a sniff. And every time we've set up this season, Tyree Sinclair started at left wing back and he's right footed. And you know everything about Sinclair, Shah, obviously being former Dale. He's a left winger that wants to cut in on his right foot and shoot. He's played either left wing back or right back for us since about March. We were really, really good last year because we had a front three of Pearce, Nathaniel George and Sinclair. And then Hinchwood went a little bit mental in about February last year. And we were putting Sinclair at right back, Felix in centre mid. We all just went a little bit weird. Yeah. And Sinclair's then had a change of manager and he's been put at left wing back. We all know he's got some talent, but he's not scored this year. He's lacking confidence and he's not been played in position since.
He's a confidence player, isn't he?
Massive confidence player. And I think part of the reason he's got no confidence is because he's been played out of position forever. Yeah. And it's just like he's not going to be able to settle too much. He was at you scoring goals, being an attacking winger. He was scoring goals against Solihull for us. He scored a screamer against Wickham in the first round of the FA Cup last November. And for the last 8 months or so, he's been played as a wing back, and it's really weird. So I'm glad Brooks has got his goal. Be interesting to see what we do against Rochdale moving forward, whether Brooks gets more of a chance. But yeah, that's a weird dynamic on the left-hand side. And then their goal, Dan Batty came on, and Batty's one of my favourite players. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the league. His passing range is a joke. Like, he can play the ball 40, 50, 60 yards perfectly. He came on to try and see it out, and the ball it was going past him. He put a leg out and he played a perfect through ball to Verdane Oliver. And as a former York man, Verdane Oliver had to score against us just because that's the rules. But yeah, they got one back and we did manage to see it out, and we keep this unbeaten away record going. So Saturday will be interesting if we can't lose away from home.
And just to add on that, as the NL full-time pod on the week, our guest was actually Ben Brooks.
Love it.
Nice.
And yeah, he obviously was delighted with that goal. Obviously not had as much game time as he would have liked this year. But yeah, sounds like a really nice lad. And obviously good for him to get that goal.
Yeah, he must have struggled.
He's always welcome back. You know, for the end of the year, we'll take him.
I was thinking this because he was obviously such a key part of your Maidstone team last year. To then move from Kent to Yorkshire is such a long distance. To go from a regular first team player in Kent in National League South and coming up to the National League, not playing as much, really struggled. Like, he's not, what is he, 24? He's still quite young, isn't he?
Quite young, yeah.
So it must be that weird dynamic. So I hope this goal will help him settle a little bit and should start getting some more games now.
I hope so.
Just really quickly in the chat, we have Danny. He has put, question for Morgan. I watched the York game Saturday, and is there a thing with Pearce and Newby? I could be wrong, but they look as though they are completely refusing to pass to each other.
I don't think they're refusing to pass to each other, but there is a weird thing of Pearce not getting service. Like, everyone says Pearce scores penalties. He's not scoring from open play because he's not getting service. I don't know if it's a system thing or because Newby's right-footed and he's playing we're playing with 2 10s and he's playing on the left side. Yeah. So on the left-hand side, we've got Sinclair using his right foot and Newby using his right foot. And it's just those passing lanes just aren't there for Pearce. He's just not getting... And I saw something on Twitter and people were taking screenshots from the Scunthorpe game of why is that pass not being played? It's because we're just putting right-footed players in almost the wrong place. Newby's had a good start. I think he's got 4 goals already, which I'm quite happy with. But we've got a really good creative 10 and we've got the best striker in the league, and they're not assisting each other all the time. It's a bit weird, but they're both kind of having good starts to the season, and it's all a bit weird. We're working away from home, but at home with just no creativity. or a lack of creativity.
You know what's going to happen now, Danny? Now you've mentioned it. On Saturday, Newbie's going to assist Pace to score the winning goal at Dale to annoy for both of us. And just quickly, Morgan, no coincidence. The game you don't go, the Cleveland Police were fine this time. It's because there's no hooligan. There's no hooligan Morgan there to cause trouble. But anybody who has come across this podcast, Morgan isn't a hooligan, by the way. Not that I know of, anyway. We'll find out on Saturday. I'll make sure GMP there surrounding Morgan anyway. But just really quickly, I'm going to come to you again, Morgan. Any other standouts on here?
I actually only really focused on our game. I mean, Scunthorpe lost. They're not undefeated anymore. I feel like that needs mentioning because there were obviously them and Forest Green, and I know you'll want to touch on that Forest Green game in a second. But yeah, Scunthorpe no longer being undefeated, I feel like that deserves a mention. When we smacked Carlisle, Scunthorpe smacked us, and then Carlisle beat Scunthorpe. There was a red card in that game as well. I think the ref was being quite card happy. I think I had a look. I think it was about 12 cards given out in that game. It was a good amount of cards, and Scunthorpe are a very physical team. So if they're not allowed to play their game because a ref didn't allow it, you're going to get beaten by a team that wants to play better football.
Joe, I'm going to come to you next. Any on here that you want to give a mention to or talk about?
Yeah, Boston.
Yes.
Obviously not got Christian with us today, but yeah, good win for them. And they've improved in the last couple of games. Got a couple of good results. Obviously that draw against Forest Green and then going to Gateshead and getting that win. Really good win for them. Nice to see Frankie Maguire back on the score sheet. Really, really good player. Someone that I was always impressed with when he was in the National League North at Chester. Yeah, they're coming along quite nicely. I think Graham Coughlin had a couple of questions asked of him. He's adapted the system slightly. And obviously, yeah, to get that result against Forest Green and then to back it up with a good away win. Yeah, that's just put a little buffer between them and the teams below them. So a good win.
I feel like
did you see what? Sorry, did you see what happened with their substitutions? All their substitutions scored. He'd made a sub and then they scored like 10 minutes later for all three subs. It was quite impressive.
Manager masterclass that.
Yeah, it is.
I love it. And I feel like you're really setting me up nicely, Joe, because every time you mention a result, Luke sends in his match report right in time. You did it for the Morecambe one too. So we used to put Boston at home. Played quite well considering we had 4 of our defenders all injured and playing players out of position. That lasted 40 minutes until we started to get a lot of injuries in the second half. And then he's also mentioned until the point that our heads dropped and then we gave up as a team as a whole. We have 12 players injured, so we are in a bit of a crisis on that front. And I've got his other part. Here we go. And we have to play Evelyn away in the FA Cup, and I have no idea who's injured or not, or who's going to be playing in our defence. Bring your boots, Luke. You might get a game. You might get a game for him. Right, Ben. Any on here that stand out to you or any you want to talk about?
Well, Truro City will be absolutely kicking themselves, having gone 1-0 down to a Harry Buteman goal. They scored 2 goals sort of late in the second half and thought they were going to be going away with all 3 points. And then goalkeeper and defender decided to have a complete mix-up at the back. And then I think Josh Asude gets in, earns a penalty, which Buteman dispatches. That's a bit of a gutting one for Truro because just after they picked up, obviously, a great result. Obviously against Morecambe recently, and it just felt like they were really starting to settle into the division a little bit more. And against the Woking side, obviously, like I say, they've not hit the heights that a lot of people were expecting them to. I mean, obviously, I said they would be down there this year, so I mean, we're not going to mention that. But Truro, like I say, just they're slowly chipping off points. That's the thing, and getting away from home. I think everyone has got to remember they have got to do a lot of travelling in this league in comparison to a lot of the teams in this division. But, look, they are limited to their resources. But, again, it's another good point for them. But they will know full well that it should have been all 3. If you scored sort of in the 87th minute, you should really be seeing the game out. And they've not done that. But got to give credit to Neil Ardley's side. Look, they've stuck at it. They've got themselves out of trouble, and another key point for them. But again, it's probably 2 points drop for Woking when they look in the comparison of the table at the moment, because they're just slowly slipping away and getting dragged into that bottom four, battle at the moment. But like I say, it's still a very long way to go.
Lee, I wanted to come to you now because most weeks when you come on, you talk about Robbie Savage, how you backed Forest Green, but how are you feeling now?
Hey, look, it's one loss they've had. Yes, don't get me wrong, it was against the Dale.
Who beat them, Lee?
But
repeat.
Rochdale,
Way.
but I'm still backing them. I'm still going to finish top. And I think, to be fair though, Rochdale, if they don't finish top, I really do think they get it in the playoffs. I really do. Forest who? How rude.
I'm really, really sorry. I just wanted to do that because I know you obviously speak really highly of Forest Green when you've come on a Robbie Savage. So I just wanted to mention that.
It's a really weird thing because when Robbie Savage moved there, I've never been a big fan of Robbie Savage. So if Robbie Savage watches this, I will hold my hands and I do apologise, because as a manager, complete different personality to what he was as a player, completely different. 100%. And yeah, 100% respect him more as a manager than I did as a player growing up. And what he did at Macclesfield and what he's doing at Forest Green is really got to give him his props. He's doing a really, really good job for even he's had to take a step up as well. And yeah, even though obviously they lost to your team at the weekend, but I still think he's doing an amazing job.
Comes across really well, to be fair. Obviously, to be honest, it was 1-0, but I thought it was a really, really good performance from Dale. Kyron Gordon getting a goal. I don't know if anybody's seen it. It was a header from a set piece. Very, very good. But I just wanted to give a shout out yet again to the three at the back for us: Kyron Gordon, Ebanks Landell, and Sam Beckwith, because they have been really, really good this season. Obviously, Oliver Watmuth in goal as well from Manchester City's academy. But I thought it was a really, really good defensive performance overall, especially Ebanks Landell. I know I've said it a few times. I've even said it on my Dale Way podcast. He's finally getting the respect he deserves, because he has had a few seasons where it's not really gone too well for him. He's never really had that respect from our fans because he was part of our relegation side, but obviously did get us relegated into the National League. I know we did have stuff going on behind the scenes as well at the time, and he ended up with a really bad injury, had to have surgery. He's come back last season, bearing in mind he'd just come back from injury. He came on his first performance. He got booed off by our fans, and it triggered me so much because I'm so protective over my players, but especially someone like Ebanks, so protective over him. And our fans booed him off. And for him to come back and do what he's done this season, I really, really want to praise him, because he has been absolutely incredible so far. And honestly, I think sometimes they don't really get the credit that they deserve, some of our defenders, especially Ebanks in particular. You're always obviously giving credit to your forwards for scoring the goals and stuff, but these have obviously been really, really good so far this season, so they deserve the credit completely. Forest Green, I didn't feel like Forest Green was the Forest Green that we have seen recently. Obviously in the football that Robbie Savage has got them playing is really exciting football. They just seemed a little bit tired and leggy compared to what they've been previously. But like I mentioned, I think our defence really did do well. Obviously, the midfield too in Harvey Gilmore and Ryan East. Harvey Gilmore, may I add, I come on here week in, week out and say about Ryan East, but Harvey Gilmore is really, really protecting our defence as well. So massive, massive credit to him. But yeah, I think it was a very good win for Dale. We could have had a couple of other goals. We've got Tyler Smith now. From Bradford, to Kyron Gordon's brother. He could have had a couple of goals on his debut, but he didn't. I think he was a little bit rusty because he's not really played that much. So we will let him off of that one. But what really did trigger me was the 11 minutes added time, because you 1-0 up and it's like, right, it's not 6 minutes, so it's not giving me PTSD, but it's an extra 5. It's 11 minutes. But we really did put in a professional performance, and I just wanted to give credit where credit's due to Robbie Savage as well, because he came out, he was very honest in his post-match interview, and he gave us credit. And honestly, like you said, Lee, I wasn't really keen on him at one point as a pundit and as a player. I had my opinions on him, but as a manager, it really, really has changed my opinion on him, Robbie Savage. And yeah, really, really good win for Dale. Just going into the chat now. Oh, we've got Double A. My good friend Double A. He's put up the Dale. Yes, up the Dale. We've got Green Acres as well. Dale keeper looked pretty decent. Apparently he's only 17. He is only 17. And Morgan, you'll be very, very pleased to know he's actually got a call up for international duty. Wow. So both him and Taryn Alarakia aren't available at the weekend, but we do have Tom Miles, who is from Manchester United's academy, who we've signed. Or I'm hoping he's playing, because if not, it will be Josh Lillis.
Very glad about Taryn Alarakia. When you signed Alarakia, I was very not worried, but I really like him as a player. And when you were talking then, you mentioned the back three. Sam Beckwith is someone I'm very jealous of. I remember when we signed Nathaniel George from Maidenhead, and I was looking into their team a bit, and they had Beckwith and Nathaniel George in that team.
Yes.
Beckwith's a phenomenal player. I thought it'd be better as a left back or left wing back, so I'm glad he's settled in to be a left centre back for you. He's a quality player. And just want to touch on Forest Green and Robbie Savage.
Yeah, of course.
Lee, you said it would be cool if he watches the pod. Yes, it would be. Robbie, I really hope you're watching this podcast. But also, we see a lot of former players, Lampard, Gerrard, they go and get that Premier League job to start them off. He started at Macclesfield and then Forest Green. He's not done. He could have gone and got the Derby job or the Birmingham job or Blackburn, one of his former clubs. He's not done that. He's gone into the non-league and he loves it. And he can't stop saying positive things about non-league. So I'm really happy he's here as a big name that talks well about non-league football.
100%. Just in the chat, we've got Green Acres. For a game when there weren't too many real chances, it was really engaging. I've been watching games in this division since the mid-80s. The quality now is a completely different level. Do you know what, as well? It could have been a whole different game, because in the first 5 minutes, they had a chance, Forest Green, and I was there like, no, not this soon. So I completely agree with that, Green Acres. Danny has put, I feel like we'll have to get promoted to keep Beckwith. Really, really good player. Very good player. Same with Kyron Gordon as well. You think of Kyron Gordon, we got him from AFC Fylde. He weren't really doing much at AFC Fylde, but he's now vice captain for us. He's still very, very young as well. So I feel like, honestly, them two players in particular, with the experience of Ebanks Landell, they are absolutely vital for us. We've got Johnny, he's put Carlisle away for Forest Green next. 2 Welshmen, 1 an experienced manager and 1 with a woman's hairdo, right? Fair enough. Aled has put 2 Welshmen from the North Wales as well. We've got a full-time result in League 2. Harrogate Town 1, Crewe Alexandra 2. We've got Green Acres, who's put Dom Jolly was at the game on Saturday. Apparently he's making a documentary about us. Oh, look that. Very, very interesting. Does anybody else have any other games on here that we do want to give a mention to before we look at the table?
I've only got...
Just want to say, it's not sorry, it's not a game, but I just want to say, talking about Forest Green. So obviously they're playing us Monday. They have completely sold out the away end for Monday's game at Worthing.
Nice.
So that's, giving it to their fans, coming all the way from Forest Green to little old Worthing for the FA Cup is just shows how their fans are behind them this season.
Definitely. Ben, did you have something you wanted to say, sorry, as well?
Yeah, I've just got one question on my mind right now. Who's top of the National League, Shah?
Should we have a look? Do you know what, though? Do you know what's really funny? I'm honestly not bragging about this as well. Every time we've been top of the league this season, I've not been on these podcasts because I've either had something on, or it's been the point where we've played and then there's been another game and then obviously it's changed. So I've always had to milk it on our EFL show. So it's really nice to say that for now, I'm not taking anything. I am not getting carried away. For now, Rochdale are top of the league on 30 points. We do have 2 games in hand, but bear in mind, one of them is York away, one of them is Southend at home. So, we are top on 30 points, Rochdale. Second are Forest Green on 29 points. Carlisle United are third on 29 points. Boreham Wood are fourth on 28 points. Scunthorpe are fifth on 25 points. FC Halifax are sixth on 24 points. York City are seventh on 22 points. And then in the relegation zone, we have Braintree, who are 21st on 12 points. Sutton United are 22nd on 8 points. Truro City are 23rd on 8 points. And Morecambe are bottom of the National League on 8 points. But as Chris did mention, they do play tomorrow against Scunthorpe. It is one of their rearranged games from, obviously, when their situation was going on. We have as well, Chris has put, TNT are showing the Worthing game on Monday. And just really quickly, he's waited really, really patiently, bless him, because he did miss National League North. Aled's match report. First half, Jester played better, created some good chances and a great save by Cogman in the goal. Second half, it was quite even and Murphy got more into the second half as it progressed. And then he has put 2 outstanding goals scored by Murphy. Stunner from outside the box. The player hit the ball first time without making a touch before shooting an absolute rocket. And he's also put, the second was a last minute equaliser from a tight angle, which hit, is it Tyrion?
Yeah, Tyrion.
Tyrion of the net. Murphy taking an incredible point away after only Wales away day in the league. Very good. But it is the end of the podcast, and thank you so much to everybody on here to talk who has spoke football with me and everybody in the chat. As I mentioned at the start, it is a collaboration with NL Fulltime, so thank you so much, Joe, for representing NL Fulltime. Where can we find all of their amazing work and obviously your own?
Yeah, so obviously NL Fulltime, myself, Rob, Dickie, and Christian, and Luke. NL Fulltime on Twitter and wherever you get your podcasts, and then my own work, Off the Line blog on Twitter. Not as active at the moment, but still try and chip in where I can.
Oh, love that. Morgan, where can everybody find you and your brilliant work?
Everyone can find me on Twitter at _Morgan_Bruce and York Press, where I do my weekly previews for the York City games and hopefully more design commentary moving forward as well.
Lee, I know you did mention off air before a milestone that you're close to hitting again. Where can everybody find yourself and obviously your incredible work too?
Yeah, so everyone can find me on Twitter, Instagram, at Football League Adventures, but also you can find me on YouTube at Football League Adventures. And I've just had a look. I'm 60 subscribers away from 5k. So
Yay,
everyone,
well done.
head over. If you haven't subbed, drop a sub. It's free to do. So yeah.
Incredible effort as well. So well done.
Thank you.
Ben, where can everybody find you? And I'm going to say your incredible work too, because you do.
Well, no, because I feel out of place now with these three.
No, you don't. You've been doing incredible work with us on the podcast as well, and all your socials.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Rate yourself, Ben. Come on.
Yeah. If you want to find me, it's Ben Stones FC1 on Twitter, and yeah, to keep it at that.
Thank you as well for doing all of the women in football interviews with me as well. I feel like you in particular, you've done a lot with me, so that is incredible work as well, Ben. So give yourself some credit. Give yourself some credit for once, or I'll shout at you.
Sorry.
You don't want sassy Shah.
No, I don't. Trust me, I don't.
Exactly.
Does that exist?
It does, Morgan. It does. You might see it on Saturday.
When you're 5-0 down, yeah, I might do.
Exactly. But of course, if anybody does want to check out any of my work, I am SharXRAFC. That is on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. My Her Game 2 stuff, if anybody does want to keep up to date with that, is Rochdale HGT. We've done a lot of incredible things already this season. And we've even got a picture with Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes was at the game on Wednesday against Halifax. So he was holding our flag up, which is incredible. So, wow. And also, we have recorded another episode of The Dale Way. So that is on YouTube. It's also on Spotify. That is The Dale Way on all platforms, on the socials, if you want to listen to all things Rochdale. But of course, the main socials, we have Absolute Football Podcast. On Twitter, we are Absolute Ball Pod. On YouTube and Twitch, Absolute Football Podcast. TikTok, Absolute Football Pod. Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast _ Blue Sky, Absolute Football. And on Facebook, we have Absolute Football Podcast. We do have 4 live shows a week, all at 8:30. So please check them out. As we mentioned, we are the Absolutely Non-League team. It is a collaboration with NL Fulltime, and we cover on a Monday National League North, National League South. On a Tuesday, spoiler alert as well, I do apologise, I am on tomorrow with Sam. It is absolutely Premier League. I think it's myself, Sam and Heather. We will be talking all things Premier League. Of course, I've got to come on. Mason Mount scored. I mean, I've got to make a cameo when my favourite player in the Premier League scores. But yes, all things Premier League on a Tuesday with Sam and the team. On a Wednesday, absolutely women's football with Freya, Paul, and the rest of Team Chaos. They cover WSL and WSL2. And hopefully, fingers crossed, because I did miss it on Thursday, absolutely lower league show will be back with myself and the rest of a rowdy rabble, and we cover EFL Championship, League One and League Two. Just wanted to say as well, we did have Gabriella Dukes on our latest Women in Football episode. Amazing show. If you do not know her, please go and check it out. What a lovely woman, wasn't she, Ben? Just talking everything that she's achieved so far, but she's an incredible role model to women in football as well, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely. I think if anyone hasn't, not just obviously with Gabrielle, but any of the episodes we've done so far, they've been absolutely brilliant. That's the thing. I've really enjoyed doing them so far. But yeah, there was a great insight into sort of the media side of things, and into the journey she's got. So yeah, obviously it's still fairly early on. It's only been was it yesterday we released it? So yeah, by all means, everyone go and check it out.
Definitely do. And I just wanted to say thank you so much again for everybody who has tuned in tonight. Hope you all have a fantastic week, and good luck to all of your teams if you do play this week or this weekend. Ta-ta for now, and take